parents and family members of the graduating students and the graduating students. This is a historic occasion for all of you graduating, and let me offer my very warm congratulations to you. Because I know that many of them have sacrificed a lot so that you can be here today. And we all owe them a lot of gratitude for all the sacrifice, the efforts that they've put in to see that you get a good career ahead. I would also acknowledge the contribution of the faculty in making you this what you are today. I'm going to talk to you not like a traditional convocation address, but just share with you some of the experiences that I've had, and I hope that you can take some lessons out of that. I did my graduation from a college called Jai Hind College in Mumbai. Jai Hind is it was at that time, and I think it still is, the best college as far as admissions to science was concerned. And I was there 4 years. I learned a fair bit, but only one thing that I remember most distinctly, and I want to share with you, is on the first day that we entered college, our principal gave us a lecture to introduce the college, and he spoke about what was the motto of the college, which I want to share with you. The motto was very simple: I will and I can. It was not I can and I will. It was not that I can do something and therefore I will do it and I will achieve it. But it was the other way around. I will and then I can. And the significance of those words is very important. I will is what, if I wish to do something, I'm determined to do something, then I can do that. And that to me has been really the motto which has underlined whatever we have done today. This is nothing original which the Jai Hind College said. It was only a repetition of what the Upanishads talk to us about. When Professor Bala, you spoke about the great glory of our country 2,700 years ago, I think it is even from beyond that. When the Upanishads say, and I'm now going to quote in the English translation, you are what your deep driving desire is. As is your desire, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. And as is your deed, so is your destiny. So the important words to remember in this is that first is the deep driving desire. Once you have a deep driving desire, then you have your will. That forms your will. If you have your will, that is your determination. That will leads to your deed. That means action. So when you convert your desire into a determined action, then you can form your destiny. And these are not words which are empty words. These are words which I have seen in my own lifetime. And this is what I would like you to keep in mind, that your deep driving desire is really what you need to look at. As you are graduating, many of us wonder that there is a certain route to success. Everybody says that you need to become an engineer, then you do an MBA, then you get a great job, either in banking, in consulting, or some IT company. I want to give you a different view, actually. I think at the end of the day, you should do whatever your passion is. You must pursue what is in your passion. You don't need to follow what others are doing. If your passion is to do something different from business, you should do that. These are only, education provides you a base, and then it's up to you. And only if you do what is in your passion, let me tell you that you will be successful, you will be happy in the long term. And especially in a world which is so dynamic, which is changing so much. They say in the very near future, almost 50% of the jobs that are there today will not be there. I mean, Professor Bala spoke to you about driverless cars. They say that there will be, I was in a conference recently, and somebody was talking not of driverless cars, but driverless cars flying. And this person said that in the next 5 years, you will see flying cars. So the world is changing, and hence the only way to succeed is to really look at what is your true passion and then go for it. The next point I wish to bring to your attention that I have found is that we must have the courage to get out of our comfort zone. What it means is that you don't have to, you must always challenge yourself to do something which is not the normal way of doing it. In my own experience, our family was in the textile business, and the business went through difficult times. And whereas it's not only our business, the entire industry went into difficult times. Most people, because they had been brought up in the textiles, continued to remain in textiles, but we said that let's go to another industry. We entered into the pharmaceutical industry, and that in some ways changed the fortune of our group. So therefore, those who remained in the traditional path of textiles actually faded away, and because we changed this, we had the courage to move from what was the normal path to a different path is what made us succeed. And this has happened, this will happen for all of us at all the time. So let me again say that let's look at having the courage to do something which is not often done before. As somebody who's getting into a career, let me say that at least the key thing to do is very simple, is hard work. I don't know of anybody who has been really successful who has not worked hard and who does not continue to work hard. These are simple things, but believe me, if you're very smart, if you work harder, then you can use your smartness for even more than what you are doing. And therefore, hard work, working hard is really another important thing. In my own experience, I have found that another important thing that has helped me all throughout has been the association with good people, or Sangat as we call it, the association of people who are good, whether they are your friends, whether they are your advisors, whether they are your business associates, because at the end of the day, these are the people who will help us to stay on the straight path. It is a difficult life. There are lots of things that can take us from one place to the wrong place. And it is these people who will be with us to help us, to tell us, who have the courage to tell us that we are on the wrong path. This is a very simple thing which everybody talks. I'm sure your parents have told you and your grandparents have told you. But at least from my own experience, I can keep emphasizing that these are the basic truths that we all need to work upon. We all hear that a lot of change is going to take place. We all hear about electric cars, how gas, diesel, petrol may not be used, and so many other changes, whether it's the Airbnb, whether it's the Uber. But there are some things which remain constant all throughout. There are certain things which are changeless, and that is values. I, in my own experience, again have found that the values are changeless over time. In our group, we have the values of knowledge, action, care, and impact. Actually, knowledge, action, care is derived straight from our scriptures. Knowledge is gyan, action is karma, and care is bhakti. I mean, these are eternal values which have lasted for, I don't know how many, 5,000 years, maybe more. And everything else will change, but values would not. And hence, I would ask you to look at those, to in your life, to incorporate values. In your life, to be associated with companies or with whatever you do in your career with values. Because at the end of the day, it is values that create economic value. Our group has had a successful record in doing acquisitions. In fact, we have had every acquisition that we have done, and let me say we've done more than 100 of them, we have not been the highest giver of value for the acquisition. There have been always other people who are willing to offer more, but yet we have been able to acquire them only because the people on the other side felt that we follow values. And we are a value-driven company. And therefore, in the short run, sometimes you may feel that if you did something, if you did not necessarily follow values, you could still make money. Yes, you can. But if you want to live in the long term, it is important that you follow values. And you are in a company which is value-driven. That's the only way I think that one can succeed in the long run. There are one of the things that I learned, which I want to share with you again. When I started business, I read an article by some very successful person in Time magazine then, which says that every person should prioritize what they want in their life. At the end of the day, if you look at it, every human being only wants two things to do: to pursue real happiness and to avoid pain. There is nothing else. All our actions are towards that. And in that, we need to prioritize. So what are the priorities? The first priority is health. All those of you who fly on the plane, you will hear that the first thing that is made in the safety announcement of when the air hostess gives you the safety announcement is that if there is a fall in cabin pressure, oxygen masks will fall down, and you, if you have some child next to you, first take the oxygen on your own, the mask, and then help the person next to you. Similarly, health. If we don't have health, we don't have anything. We can't do a career, we can't look after our family, we can't do anything else. So if we were to prioritize, first is health, the second is again family. Because unless you are happy, unless you have a good and supportive environment around you, you cannot succeed. And therefore, prioritize that as the next. And the third is to prioritize your work. I think it is important. I was very impressed yesterday when I was looking at the work which is done in the Great Lakes Institute. And that was on your Karma Yoga. I think we need to recognize that the only living species in the world which has the power to discriminate between right and wrong, which has the power to do something good and some equally bad, is the human being. And we are today indeed blessed, first of all, to be human beings. If you are a tiger, you can be the lord of the jungle, but the only thing you do is to really look after, you hunt for your food, you protect yourself from enemies, from nature, you procreate, that's all. We as human beings can do much more. The fact that we are over here sitting in a graduate class, that means that you are a small fraction of the people in this country who are privileged. And therefore, we have been blessed with all this. Blessed, first of all, to be a human being. Secondly, blessed to be here in an institute like Great Lakes. Thirdly, blessed to be graduating from this, and blessed to have a job. I think it is our obligation to give back to society, and each one of us can do that. Very often people say, but what can I do as an individual? I'm going to give you an incident of the Ramayana to bring home my point. In the Ramayana, as you may remember, that they are building a bridge from Rameshwaram onto Sri Lanka for Ram's army to cross. And that exercise, all the big animals, the big monkeys, and all of them are contributing, moving the stones to put into the sea. There is also a squirrel which is taking small pebbles and pieces and sand, particles of sand, to be helping to put into the bridge. The monkeys make a big noise about it. Now, what are you doing? They laugh at the squirrel. They leave it, you will not make a difference. And that's when the Lord Ram actually admonishes the monkeys, gets very upset with them, and says that each one of us has a role to play. He takes the squirrel in his hand and strokes the squirrel on the back. And that is why the squirrel, the Indian squirrel, has the stripes on its back, saying that each one of us, wherever we are, have a role to play. And therefore, whatever we do, please remember, we need to give back to society. And finally, I want to say that in all this, at least I have found that faith is a very important. No life is going to be easy. You can see people all around the world, you can say successful, they have such a good life. But believe me, if you go into that, They've all gone through their challenges. And in my own case, I will share with you again something personal. I was, I'm the son, we were three brothers. My father, when he was age 55, suddenly passed away one day in literally 30 seconds. He had a heart attack. At those times, you didn't have all these bypasses and all the angiograms and all that. So I was 24 then. It was a big shock to me. After that, we were three brothers. Two of us decided to do one business. One decided to do another. Our business was textiles. We were together on the 1st of January. I remember we had our family division. We got textiles. On the 16th of January, there was a big strike. So and it continued for 18 months in our business. So whatever the value was in our business, on 1st January, if it was 100, it came down to 10 in 16 days. To top it all, after that, after 6 months, my elder brother, who was with me, developed cancer and passed away at the age of 33. So here I was, when I was 28, to manage a business which had 5,000 workers, which was sick, to manage a family. My brother's children, the youngest was 1 year old, and yet, so those were the challenges that one had to face. But again, it is because of faith and because of the grace of some other power, a bigger power, that I'm standing here in front of you today. So please remember, with humility, that all of us need to have this last faith. So if I was to summarize really today, what do I say? First, as I said, please have a deep driving desire. You can achieve anything if you have that deep driving desire. The second thing I would like to say is that you should pursue what is your true passion. Do not worry what others say. Pursue your passion. That is what will make you successful. Third thing I said is that have the courage to go not in the path less traveled. Have the courage to go on that. Fourth, hard work. There's nothing else that's more important than working hard. The fifth point is that we need to have the association of good people. Sixth is that values will create value. Prioritize, and all of us need to prioritize, whether with family, with health first, then family, then work. Give back to society. We owe it to them. And finally, have faith in a higher being. I wish you all the best, and thank you.